Okay, well, welcome everyone. Part 2.
Wow, a lot of people still here.
A lot of people still here. Quite lovely to see. So the next part of this afternoon will be the ordination ceremony for Sāmaṇera Hemako, and of course he has been here for well over 2 years, and has been through the process of being a layperson and asking to take on the training as anagarika, and fulfilled that training, requested the Sāmanera training and precepts, and has fulfilled that, and has requested the Bhikkhu going forth. Upasampada means going forth. So so it is an occasion to that sense of going forth, lifting up into the midst of the Sangha, sort of the images that come from the Pali, and if people are going to be outside, then yeah, well, yeah. Further, just maybe, yeah, further. Okay, they got it now. He's right there. Okay, it's nice and quiet now. We can go forward with the ordination. Of course, we began the whole afternoon with a New Year's celebration and the chanting of the paritas and the hand washing ceremony, and so that has it feels like the space has definitely been consecrated. Oftentimes, like before an ordination, one is because here at Abhayagiri we don't have an actual consecrated boundary for the ordination, but the using of this space is very appropriate, and so far, since the establishing of Abhayagiri, and myself and Ajahn were both too lazy to make a proper boundary space, and it hasn't felt that the time was ripe yet. But in the vinaya, then especially in a forest that is away from villages and away from then any space where you have the bhikkhus gathering and performing a ceremony, that is the sima, or the boundary, and so we have definitely consecrated the space through our presence and the parita chanting and the blessings that have been generated. So that, but to begin the ceremony, it would be good to pay respects to the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha again, one more time. We can't do that enough. Arahang Samma Sambuddho Soakato Yena Bhagavata Dhammo Supatipanno Yassa Bhagavato Sāvaka Saṅgho Dhammayang Bhagavantang Satamma Sasanghang Hemehi Sakarehi Yadha Rahang Aropite Iyabhipujayama Sadhu no bande bhagava Suchira parine bundopi Majima Janathanukamba manasa Ime sakare dukatapanna Karabunde patikanatu Namhakam dekaradhang itaya sukhaya Arahang Samma Sambuddho Bhagava Buddhang Bhagavantang Abhivademi Swakato Bhagavata Dhammo Dhammang Namasami Supatipanno Bhagavato Sāvaka Saṅgho Saṅghang Namami Annamayang Buddhasa Bhagavato Pupapaka Namakarang Karomase Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa Okay, and the beginning of the ceremony begins with the novice retaking their Sāmaṇera precepts, their novice precepts, and that it's a part of the ceremony, part of the ritual to make sure that the beginning of the ordination or the beginning of this endeavor is beginning with a clean slate again, and these are we always want to be endeavoring to whatever we begin with, wherever we're starting something, especially something like this, a commitment to living a holy life, living a life of relinquishment, then keep it as spiffy clean as possible, and so that it's a retaking of the precepts and coming into the and also just that sense of when we start something, to be able to start it with a sense of delight. This is so important because we can start things with a sense of dread and or a sense of excitement, but beginning with a sense of delight is really important, and having I mean, Hemako's been an excellent novice and is committed to the training, but as a part of as a ceremony, then to renewing. You always want to find ways to renew our commitments to things. So could begin with making a request to receive the precepts.
Suvandami bante, Sāvaṇga paradam kamatame bante, Maya katang punyang Sāmaṇera Hemako, Sāmaṇera katang punyang Mayhang databang, Sātu, Sātu, Anumodami, Okasa karunyang katva, Saramena saha silani detang bante.
Okay, so that, of course, the whole ceremony is going to be in Pali, but this particular chant is going to come up a few times through the ordination, and it is literally, it's a please allow me to offer my respects, Venerable Sir. Please grant forgiveness for all my shortcomings. Whatever goodness has been accumulated by me, may I offer it to you, and may I partake in the accumulated goodness of the Venerable Sir. Out of compassion, Venerable Sir, give me the 3 refuges and the precepts. So that's again, yes, there's when we're starting something, beginning with being very grounded in respect and gratitude. Those are are such important virtues to be grounding ourselves, beginning anything with, and returning to throughout our life, so that our real, growth and development comes through those fundamental qualities of gratitude and respect. Imo.
Aham bante saranasiddham gacchami, dutiyampi aham bante saranasiddham gacchami, tatiyampi aham bante saranasiddham gacchami. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. 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 Yamahang Varamitang Mudehi
Oka Sāmavante
Buddhang Saranang Gacchami
Buddhang Saranang Gacchami
Dhammang Saranang Gacchami
Dhammang Saranang Gacchami
Sanghang Saranang Gacchami
Sanghang Saranang Gacchami
Dutiyampi Buddhang Saranang Gacchami
Dutiyampi Buddhang Saranang Gacchami
Dutiyampi Dhammang Saranang Gacchami
Dutiyampi Dhammang Saranang Gacchami
Dutiyampi Sanghang Saranang Gacchami
Dutiyampi Sanghang Saranang Gacchami
Tatiyampi Buddhang Saranang Gacchami
Tatiyampi Buddhang Saranang Gacchami
Tatiyampi Dhammang Saranang Gacchami
Tatiyampi Dhammang Saranang Gacchami
Tatiyampi Sanghang Saranang Gacchami
Tatiyampi Sanghang Saranang Gacchami
Tisaranakamanang itikam
Oka Sāmavante
Anatipata Veramani Sikaparang Samadhiyami
Anatipata Veramani Sikapadang Samadhiyami
Adinadana Veramani Sikaparang Samadhiyami
Adinadana Veramani Sikapadang Samadhiyami
Abrahmacharya Veramani Sikaparang Samadhiyami
Abrahmacharya Veramani Sikapadang Samadhiyami
Musavada Veramani Sikaparang Samadhiyami
Musavada Veramani Sikapadang Samadhiyami
Surameraya Majapamadhatana Veramani Sikaparang Samadhiyami
Sura Merya Majapamadhatana Veramani Sikapadang Samadhiyami
Vikala Bhojana Veramani Sikaparang Samadhiyami
Vikala Bhojana Veramani Sikapadang Samadhiyami
Nacha Gita Varita Visukadasana Veramani Sikaparang Samadhiyami
Nacha Gita Varita Visukadasana Veramani Sikapadang Samadhiyami
Malaganda Vilepana Dharana Mandana Vibhusanatana Veramani Sikaparang Samadhiyami
Mala Ganda Vilepana Dharana Mandana Vibhusanatana Veramani Sikapadang Samadhiyami
Ucha Sayana Mahasayana Veramani Sikaparang Samadhiyami
Ucha Sayana Mahasayana Veramani Sikapadang Samadhiyami
Chata Rupa Ratata Patikahana Veramani Sikaparang Samadhiyami
Jata Rupa Rajata Patigahana Veramani Sikapadang Samadhiyami
Imani Dasa Sikapadani Samadhiyami
Oka Sāmavante Imani Dasa Sikapadani Samadhiyami Imani Dasa Sikapadani Samadhiyami Imani Dasa Sikapadani Samadhiyami
Okay, so now that the Sāmaṇera Hemako has received the precepts, the next part of their ceremony is the receiving of his requisites from his family has all come, which is quite wonderful. And so if you could stand up and then parents, receiving his robes from his brother, and then receiving the tray of offerings to the preceptor from his sister. So it's wonderful that the family has made the effort to come out here, and then we need the bhikkhus to give a hand with putting strapping him in there.
One of the reasons there's feedback is this is feeding into the speaker system for some
Okay.
reason. It's usually
Yeah, so that these
Okay, so, you need to turn that off.
robes were
stream, but not off the speaker system.
he prepared his robes through the winter retreat, so they're all and they were all hand sewn as well, which is something I've never done. I mean, I've done a lot of things as a monk, but hand sewing a whole robe is something that I've never done, and so it's quite an accomplishment, lovely way of beginning. Again, so you're thinking in terms of beginnings, and by beginning with that kind of sincerity and effort is a really beautiful way of beginning. And the and for the ordination ceremony, and there's enough going on for a person trying to remember their lines and get through all the choreography without their robe falling off in the middle of it. So it's a safety feature. We sort of tie a sash on, and it's quite helpful, I think. Yeah. And so having received the requisites. Now these are the fundamental requisites for a monk. We need our bowl and robes, and that is that actually, how do you say, validates our candidacy for, or it's actually, and there's going to be a series of questions that will be posed to the candidate, and one of those questions: do you have your bowl and robes? And now he can very confidently say, "I'm a Bhante, yes I do, Venerable Sir." So he's got the bowl and robes, and so these are the symbols of our ordination, symbols of the monastic endeavor, because we live in a prescribed way, relying on alms, and also having the distinctive robes going back to the time of the Buddha. And there's actually a lot of in our text of discipline, and there's instructions on how to make the robes, how to put a border around them, how to have the panels so that there need to be at least 5 panels. And how many panels is your outside robe? 7? 9?
7 to 9? I think 9.
I think 9. Yeah, yeah. It depends on the. It actually depends on the actual width of the cloth. You divide it up in a way that is most economical in terms of the use of the cloth, so that having these robes that go back 2,500 years, we're not fashion conscious really. So it's a commitment to a tradition, and so having the requisites, the next part of the ceremony is a requesting of nisaya, or a requesting of dependence on the preceptor.
Okasa vandami bante, sabanga paradang kamatame bante, maya katang punyang samina hanumoditabang, samina katang punyang mayang databang, sadhu, sadhu, hanumodami, okasa karunyang katwa, Nisayang deta me bante. Ahang bante nisayang yachami, dutiyampi ahang bante nisayang yachami, tatiyampi ahang bante nisayang yachami. Upajayo me bante hohi, upajayo me bante hohi, upajayo me bante hohi.
Opayikam.
Okasa sampadichami.
Pati rupam.
Okasa sampadichami.
Pasadikena sambhadehi.
Okasa sampadichami. Ajatagedani tero mayham bharu, ahampi terasa bharu. Ajatagedani tero mayham bharu, ahampi terasa bharu. Ajatagedani tero mayham bharu, ahampi terasa bharu.
You can see up here. Okay, so this is it. The taking of dependence is a part of our training, and of course you have taken dependence before. I mean, it's part of what we do at the beginning of the range retreat. We'll do it at the beginning of the winter retreat, so taking dependence on the teachers, but this is a taking of dependence on the preceptor, and I will. So taking dependence is it's an important part of the commitment to the training, that you're actually taking dependence on an elder to receive guidance and receive instruction and to continue to study and practice into the future. So it's, part of it is taking dependence on me in the ceremony. But the reality is also taking dependence on your chanting acharyas, Ajahn Yaniko, Ajahn Chunda, and then taking dependence on the elders in the community that you reside with, Ajahn Sayek, Ajahn Krundammo, Ajahn Sudhiro. These are all these are your elders who you know, it's part of the deal in terms of taking on training, is that you seek the guidance, and it's also the duty of the elders to give guidance and give support and give encouragement, both in terms of your material needs, the food, lodgings, your robes, your medicines for when you're sick, but also the guidance and instruction, the development of your monastic vocation in the precepts and in the meditation and the training. So that's it's not something that you should be say in Thai, sort of grangjai, sort of be shy of if you in need of or wanting to have some kind of some doubt cleared up or some perspective reflected on, and it's inappropriate. It is appropriate to go to the preceptor and your teachers to receive that clarity of the path, and so it's because that's how we grow and develop. It's kind of everybody going their own way in a rugged individualistic manner doesn't really kind of work so well in a Buddhist culture. It's much better to rely on each other and to support each other and to seek guidance from those who have experience and have been training for extended periods of time. So that you're incredibly fortunate, really, in terms of this monastery. I was just in the hall this morning, as we are when we were doing the Paritta chanting. This whole wall was all terras. Terras are above tens reins. Terras are elders, respected elders, and so that whole bank of respected elders, and it's rare to have a monastery. There were more terras than there were the more junior members. So it's it's a great opportunity to have that resource for your to hand. So it's an opportunity to reflect on that taking of dependence and how to train, because that is the purpose and the opportunity of taking ordination, is to take on the training that that going forth is a going forth into a more refined commitment to the training with the Bhikkhu precepts, the 227 precepts, and and kind of the spirit of being a bhikkhu. I mean, you can remember Ajahn Chah talking about, because the literal meaning of the word bhikkhu, literally means one who begs. And bhikkhu, I guess, is a bit of alms. So we rely on alms. The Buddha wasn't giving us a high exalted kind of status name, but because it's really important to have that humility of what are we doing and how are we living. But Ajahn Chah said the Buddha also talked about the spirit of the bhikkhu is one who sees the dangers in samsara, so that seeing the dangers in the round of rebirth, and of course being in a Western culture, one talks the round of rebirth, you don't have to go as far as thinking about being born in heavens and hells and future lives and past lives and whatnot. All you have to do is look at your mind and see what your mind is being reborn into. And you think, oh God, I really want out of that. I would want to find some peace within that round of rebirth. And so that both scales of experience work because they're the same principle. It's the same mind that drives this restless mind, or this scattered mind, or the confused mind, and it drives that mind of desire. It drives that mind of seeking peace and wisdom. So that to relying on this mind to reflect and understand and develop the skills needed to being about an awakened understanding of the nature of our existence. So it's a possibility, and something that Ajahn Chah certainly emphasized. Well, the Buddha, of course, and as well as the Buddha is saying this is apparent here and now. This is possible to realize in this present moment. And Ajahn Chah, similarly, he would always emphasize that this is not beyond the capability of any of you. So to be reflecting on this opportunity of taking the going forth, taking on the training, and relying on the guidance and experience of the elders around you. The taking of dependence. It's a very beautiful thing to be doing. And as we go through this ordination ceremony, there'll be further perspectives and reflections, but just to say that this ceremony is, of course, it's all done in Pali, and we've actually had some practice sessions, and you've got it nailed. But the sense of when it's time for the questioning, which will come up quite quickly in the procedure, then you'll be asked questions which are, there'll be 5 things that would be impediments to your going forth, and you should, and most of it's around some kind of chronic illness or debilitating disease. which some we don't have to worry about so much. I haven't seen anybody with leprosy in this country. But it wasn't that long ago, and it was still a reality. But anyway, that would be an impediment. But then when you're asked, is nati mati? No, I'm free from that. And the things that are qualifying, do you have your bowl of robes? Are you free from debt? Are you free from government service? Then you answer, amabante, or do you have your parents' permission, is one of them. And so obviously you do, they're here cheering you on. And so answering, amabante, yes, Venerable Sir. Then I will ask, what is your name? You, of course, you enter the bhikkhu training with a Pali name, Hemako. What's Hemako mean? Pure gold. Ooh.
Golden one.
Golden one. Oh, okay. Very beautiful. It's something of true value. Of course, that's the whole opportunity of training is, taking a lump of gold and making it into something really beautiful. So taking this Hemako and making it into a well-trained, peaceful, wise being. So I will ask, Kiye namosi, what is your name? And you should answer, Ahang Bante Hemako nama.
Amabante.
Then I will ask what's the name of your preceptor? Of course, I am Pasano. Ko nama te upajayo, and you should answer upajayo me bante sama Pasano nama.
Amabante.
And I will formally give you your bowl and your 3 robes, which are part of your requisites for the ordination. And we will put this on, and then I will point them out to you. Attamang upanjangaha petamo upanjangaha petva pattachivarang ajikitabang ayante patho
Amabante.
ayang sanghati
Amabante.
ayang uttarasangho
Amabante.
ayang antaravasako
Amabante.
gacha amumhi okase titahi, which means go and stand over there. He was standing outside of the boundary of the Bhikkhu Saṅgha in the again, as I said, we inherit an ancient tradition, and in the time of the Buddha there was an occasion when somebody came to be questioned and they got so embarrassed and flustered that the Buddha gave an allowance or a procedure to go and question them outside first, get them familiar, and then bring them in later, and we'll do another questioning inside. So this is hearkening back to that, but I'm not afraid of him slipping up on this, so it's far enough. So the chanting acharyas will go and do the questioning of the candidate.
Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa.
So the procedures in sort of Buddhist monastic ceremony or procedure like this, they require consensus. In order to gain consensus, then it's important that everybody is on board. And what the chanting acharyas are going to be doing is making an announcement to the Sangha saying that this candidate, Hemako, he's intent upon ordination. If the Sangha is ready, we'll instruct or question Hemako. So that is the again. It seems like a ritual ceremony form, but there is some. To me, there's quite an important meaning, because the one of the reasons why, say, the Sangha has survived for 2,500 years is that there is this very strong sense of okay, is everybody on board with this? Are you okay with this? Okay, how are we doing with this? This is working. And to draw in consensus. I mean, there's authoritarian structures don't last very long, but when you build consensus, it can, as in this case, it's 2,500 years. So it's an important model, I think, for the world. So, Nimo, go ahead.
Sunatu me bhante sangho hemako ayasamato pasana saupasampada peko yadi sangasa patakala aham hemakam anusaseyam. Sunasi hemaka ayante satakalo buddhakalo yam jatam tam sankhamache pujante santang atite vatapam asantang atite vatapam mako vitasi mako ahosi evantam puji santi santi te devarupa avada kutam
Nati Bante,
gando
Nati Bante,
hilaso
Nati Bante,
so
Nati Bante,
apamavro
Nati Bante,
manusosi
Ama Bante,
purisosi
Ama Bante,
bujisosi
Ama Bante,
ananusi
Ama Bante,
nasi rajapato
Ama Bante,
anunyatosi mata pituhi
Ama Bante,
paripurna visati vasosi
Ama Bante,
paripurnate patachivaram
Ama Bante,
kinamosi
Aham Bante Hemako Nama,
ko namate upajayo
Upajayo me Bante Hayasama Pasanu Nama,
Okay, now that the chanting acharyas have returned, and they will then announce to the Sangha that the questioning outside the boundary has been completed.
Sunatu me bante sangho hemako ayasamato pasana sa upasampara peko anusito somaya yadi sangasa patakalang hemako agacheya
Agachahi.
Come here. And so you come to the edge of the Sangha, and an astute, mindful bhikkhu will leap up with alacrity. There we go. And then Sāmaṇera Hemako will make a request to the Sangha requesting ordination from the Sangha, because it's the Sangha that confers ordination. I preside over it, but it's not. It has to be the Sangha. There is no individual that has the power to give ordination. It's the community taking on a candidate for training and for living in communion with them. So that may the Sangha out of sympathy lift me up and say upadaya. Okay, so you can go ahead.
Sanghang bante upasampadang yachami ulum patumang bante sangho hanukampang upadaya dutiyampi bante sanghang upasampadang yachami ulum patumang bante sangho hanukampang upadaya tatiyampi bante sanghang upasampadang yachami ulum patumang bante sangho hanukampang upadaya.
Okay, so the next part of the procedure is the preceptor informing the Sangha of the request of the candidate, and it's me requesting the Sangha to approve of Hemako as an appropriate candidate for ordination. Edani ko avoso hayang Hemako nama Sāmaṇero mama upasambara peko upasambadang hakankamano sankhang yajate ahang sambamimang sankhang ajesami sadhu avso saboyang sangho imang Hemakan nama Sāmaṇerang antaraya kedam me puchitva Tata patakalatang yatawa nyati chatutena kammena akupena tanarahena upasambhade mate kamasanithanang karotu.
Sadhu.
Okay, so the Sangha has given their approval to go forward, and Hemako will come into the midst of the Sangha, and then the chanting acharyas will make an announcement to the Sangha that they will question the candidate in the midst of the Sangha. So they'll make that announcement.
Sunatu me bante sangho ayang Hemako ayasamato pasana sa upasampara peko Yadi Sangha Sapatakala Aham Hemakam Antarayike Tame Pucheyam.
Okay, then the chanting acharyas will then do the questioning again.
Sunasi Hemaka Ayante Satakalo Buddhakalo Yang Jatang Tang Puchami Santang Atiti Watapang Asantang Natiti Watapang Santi Te Eva Rupa Abada Kutang
Nati Bante,
Gando
Nati Bante,
Kilaso
Nati Bante,
So
Nati Bante,
Apamaro
Nati Bante,
Manusosi
Amabante,
Purisosi
Amabante,
Pujisosi
Amabante,
Ananosi
Amabante,
Nasi Rajapato
Amabante,
Anunyatosi Mata Pituhi
Amabante,
Paripurna Visati Vasosi
Amabante,
Paripurnate Patachivarang
Amabante,
Kinamosi
Ahang Bante Hemako Nama,
Ko Namate Upachayo
Upajayo Me Bante Hayasama Pasano Nama.
Okay, this next part of the ceremony is the actual the chanting acharya is making a motion to the sangha that we let the venerable sangha hear me. This Hemako with Pasano as his preceptor or advocate, is intent on ordination. He's fully pure from the obstructing factors. His bolder robes are complete. Hemako asked the Sangha for ordination with Venerable Pasano as his preceptor. If the community is ready, the Sangha may ordain Hemako with Venerable Pasano as his preceptor. This is the motion. So then there's a motion, then there's 3 announcements, that you go through that all again. It's reviewing what content is, and then for whoever this pleases, then that person is silent. For who this does not please, they may speak. You can speak up and sort of say, I don't know about this Hemako character. But that again, that's the procedure, and again, the sense of consensus of the community, and then it wraps up with that's okay. Once these 3 announcements have done, there's silence. Then then there is a further announcement, sort of saying, okay. Hemako has been ordained by the Sangha with Venerable Pasano as his preceptor. This is agreeable to the Sangha, therefore it is silent. Thus do I hold it, or thus do we hold it, as these 2 chanting acharyas. So, and then the whole community responds with sadhu. It is well, it is wonderful. So that's again, a sense of the kind of communal responsibility of an ordination. It is the Sangha taking on a new candidate to live and train together. So it's a great opportunity, but it's also again the sense of the nature of consensus that is underlying all of this. Okay, so we'll like the acharyas.
Sunatu me bante Saṅgho, Ayang Hemako, Ayasamato Pasanasa Upasampada Peko, Parisuto Antaraike Hidamehi, Paripurnasa Patachivarang, Hemako, Saṅghang Upasampadang Yachati, Ayasamata Pasanena Upajayena, Yadi Saṅghasa Patakalang, Saṅgho Hemakang Upasampadeya, Upasampadeya, Ayasamata Pasane, Ayasamata Pasanena Upajayena, Esanyati, Sunatu, me bante Saṅgho, Ayang Hemako, Ayasamato Pasanasa Upasampada Peko, Parisuto Antaraike Hidamehi, Paripurnasa Patachivarang, Hemako, Saṅghang Upasampadang Yachati, Ayasamata Pasanena Upajayena, Saṅgho Hemakang Upasampadeti, Ayasamata Pasanena Upajayena, Yasa Yasamato Kamati, Hemakasa Upasampada, Ayasamata Pasanena Upajayena, Sotunhasa Yasanakamati, Sobaseya, Dutiyampi etamatang vadami, Sunatu me bante Saṅgho, Ayang Hemako, Ayasamato Pasanasa Upasampada Peko, Parisudo Antaraike Hidamehi, Paripurnasa Patachivarang, Hemako, Saṅghang Upasampadang Yachati, Ayasamata Pasanena Upajayena, Saṅgho Hemakang Upasampadeti, Ayasamata Pasanena Upajayena, Yasa Yasamato Kamati, Hemakasa Upasampada, Ayasamata Pasanena Upajayena, Sotunhasa Yasanakamati, Sopaseya, Tatiyampi etamatang vadami, Sunatu me bante Saṅgho, Ayang Hemako, Ayasamato Pasanasa Upasampada Peko, Parisudo Antaraike Hidamehi, Paripurnasa Patachivarang, Hemako, Saṅghang Upasampadang Yachati, Ayasamata Pasanena Upajayena, Saṅgho Hemakang Upasampadeti, Upasampadeti, Ayasamata Pasanena Upajayena, Yasa Yasamato Kamati, Hemakasa Upasampada, Ayasamata Pasanena Upajayena, Sotunhasa Yasanakamati, Sobaseya, Upasampano Saṅghena Hemako, Ayasamata Pasanena Upajayena, Kamati Saṅghasa Tasamatunhi, Evametang Dharayami.
Sadhu. Okay, so you could take your bowl off. Maybe somebody give him a hand. Okay, so that went well.
Well, for the rest of you.
We're done.
We're done now. You can breathe out now.
I was a lot more nervous than him, I think.
Oh yeah, you were a lot more nervous than him. Ajahn Chunda, this is your first time chanting it? Second time chanting it?
7 years ago.
Oh, the first time was 7 years ago. So it was completely gone. And then he just flew back from Thailand April 3rd, 4th? April 3rd or 4th. And he's been jet lagged. And it's just, we've been doing practice sessions every day, and it's like it's a sponge that is not seeping it, soaking anything up at all.
That was the best one.
Yeah.
Which wasn't so great.
But yeah, it was. He's been very He was very nervous this morning. So, but you did fine. It was.
Thank you. You're still ordained.
So that does complete the ordination in terms of the becoming a bhikkhu. There is a further part of the ordination, which is the duty of the preceptor to give instruction to the newly ordained candidate, and in particular, giving instruction on the use of the 4 requisites and these 4 things to be done in terms of you are to rely on these requisites of alms food, of lodging, of robes, and medicines for when you're sick. And these are your fundamental requisites. And then the 4 things not to be done, which are the rules which would nullify your ordination. So the stealing, sexual conduct, the taking the life of a living being, and making claims to supernormal powers. So these are things which you've already, Ajahn Yaniko, as your teacher, has already gone through that with you quite carefully, and but it's still part of the ordination procedure to do it in the Pali, and so that we'll do that. But it is important to recognize that the foundations of our training are this relying on what's given. Our food on a daily basis is given to us. That one of the chants that we do is like the 10 reflections on one gone forth. One of them is there's a couple of them. Of course, I'm no longer living according to worldly aims and values. That's in a sense you're living a monastic training, and we're not here for power, status, gain, material gain in any way. But also I am rely on the gifts of others. That is the whole sense of our livelihood is completely dependent on what is given, and of course, we're incredibly fortunate to be well looked after, well supported, and so that sense of but it's not, not to be taking that for granted. The reason why we are well supported is that there's a decent standard of training, and to be able to maintain that and live harmoniously. It's like in the Dhamma talk that Ajahn Yaniko gave last night, the bickering bhikkhus of Kosambi that were fighting and quarreling and wouldn't even listen to the Buddha. And so the Buddha got fed up and left, and he couldn't resolve the conflict. It ended up being the lay people who resolved the conflict because they were so disheartened by these monks living so unskillfully and not listening to the Buddha that they stopped offering alms food. Well, that got their attention. So that, we live independence on each other as a monastic community, but we live independence on the lay community, and it's important that we live in a way that honors the standards and the traditions and the training, and so that it is it's like a faithful representation of what the Buddha laid down, and it's of course it's a gift to us to be able to live like that, but it's a gift to others to be able to come in contact, and the more well we preserve that standard, then the greater the benefit comes to ourselves and to others. And you realize that the Buddha, was really bringing blessings into the world, and it's it's our good fortune to be able to partake of that. So to be committed to this training of living contented with little, living in simplicity, living with a commitment to training in virtue and integrity, and in cultivating the path. I mean, that is in this Anusasana, I do talk about the 4 requisites and then the 4 major offenses, but then it's also there is a summary of this, what the purpose of that is, and the purpose is it's in the very last part of the instruction that I give, and it says, now when moral conduct is thoroughly developed, concentration is of great fruit, of great advantage. When concentration is thoroughly developed, discernment is of great fruit, of great advantage. When discernment is thoroughly developed, the heart is freed completely from the underlying tendencies, the asavas, the asava of sensuality, the asava of becoming, the asava of avijja, of not knowing. So that the possibilities are immense, and so that too, the sense of commitment to this path that the Buddha laid down of sila, samadhi, panya, it's easy to commit to memory, but we have to make it come alive for us, and to be able to do that, it's doing it in the context of our own commitment, our own motivation, and our own willingness to put forth effort, but then also living in the midst of a sangha, and in the midst of a community, and growing and developing in that commitment. So that just emphasizing or restating fundamentals. It was like the theme that Ajahn Yaniko set for the winter retreat, back to basics. And it's we don't have to be that fancy, but pay attention to the basics. Really get those basic foundation well laid, and certainly for the as a bhikkhu, one of our say Ajahn Chah's great contributions was his setting a standard where there was a commitment to training over a long period of time. It's not, this is temporary ordination. This doesn't really play much of a role, and then even bringing it in and really trying to make a commitment to being with the teacher, being with the community. You've already have the flavor of it, being an anagarika and a novice, and then taking on the bhikkhu training, 5 years, and then see where it goes. I can remember when I very first, of course, I met Ajahn Chah. I had no idea what I was doing. I was ordained as a monk in a city monastery without a clue about training. Nobody even told me there was such a thing as the Vinaya, the rules. And that definitely came back to bite my butt. When I I was only ordained for maybe 3 or 4 weeks, and then went to pay respects to Ajahn. I'd heard about these forest monasteries, and it was very attractive, and went and paid respects to Ajahn Chah. And I'd only just arrived in the monastery, paid my respects, sort of bowed, and put my head. He just sort of looked at me, and he looked at me. He was very silent for a while. If you want to stay here, you have to stay at least 5 years. My heart sunk. It was sort of 5 years. I'm 24. That's the rest of my life. That's what it felt like at the time. But 5 years for training is not very long. And I didn't stay. It was too much all at once. But I did go off to another monastery. I practiced meditation. I loved the meditation. But then I kept thinking of Ajahn Chah. Okay, I got to go back and give myself to Ajahn Chah. 5 years is 5 years. And so this is what I do. And it's certainly the best thing I've ever done with my life. So, just to realize that this is a training, and and there's times where you train and you're inspired, and there's sometimes when you train and it's just like, oh, is there an end to this? But that's the nature of training, and again, that's one of the benefits of being. Oftentimes people, what's the benefit of being in a monastery, as a monastic? And so, one of the great benefits is you live with a group of people, and it's very, very rare indeed when every single person is just fed up and depressed at the same time. There is a sense of commitment and purpose that pursues it, and it helps to, we are able to contribute to that, and we can feed on, we can rely on that, and it's a mutual support and mutual benefit. So Yeah, welcome to the Sangha. I'll do the Anusasana in the Pali.
Did you want me to check that? I'm done with my first.
Anunyasiko bhagava upasampadetava jataro nisaye jatari jakaranyani ajikitung Pindiya lopabochanan nisaya papacha tatate yavachivang usaho karaniyo Adi rekalabo sangapatang udesapatang nimantanang salakapatang bhakikang uposatikang patipatikang
Amabante.
Hang sakula jivarang nisaya papacha Tata te yavajivang usaho karaniyo Adi rekalabo ko mangkapasikang ko sayang kambalang sanang bhangang
Amabante.
Rukamula senasanang nisaya papacha Tata te yavajivang usaho karaniyo Adi rekalabo viharo adayogo pasaro hammiyang kuha
Amabante.
Puti mutta besa janya saya pampacha Tata te yavajivang usaho karaniyo Adi rekalabo sapi navanitam telang madhupanitang
Amabante.
Upasambanena bhikkhuna metuno dhammona patisevitabo Hannamaso chirachana gathayapi Yo bhikkhu metunang dhammang patisevati Asamano hoti sakya puttiyo Sayathapi nama puriso sisachino bambo Tena sarira bandhanena jivitung Evam bhikkhu Metunang dhammang patisevitva Asamano hoti sakya puttiyo Tanteya vajivang karaniyang
Amabante.
Upasambanena bhikkhuna dinang thaya sangatang na adatabang Hannamaso tina salakang upadaya Yo bhikkhu padang va padarahang va hadireka padang va dinang thaya sangatang adiyate asamano hutiya sakya puttiyo Sayathapi nama pandu palla sobandana pamuto ababbo halitataya Evameva bhikkhu padang va padarahang va hadireka padang va adinang thaya sankatang adiyatva asamana hutiya sakya puttiyo tanteya vajivang karaniyang
Amabante.
Upasambannena bhikkhuna sanchicapano jivithana vorupetabo Hannamaso kuntaki pilikam upandaya Yo bhikkhu sanchicha manusavikahang jivita vorupeti Hannamaso gabhapatanang upandaya Asamano hutiya sakya puttiyo Sayathapi nama puttu sila dvinda binna pati sandika hoti Evam bhikkhu sanchicha manusavikahang jivita vorupetva asamano hutiya sakya puttiyo Tanteya vajivang karaniyang
Amabante.
Upasambanena bhikkhuna uttarimanusa dhammo na ullapitabo Hannamaso sunyakare habirlamamiti Yo bhikkhu papi choye cha pakato santang putang uttarimanusa dhammang ullapati Chanang va vimokang va samading va samabating va mangkang va palang va Asamano hutiya sakya puttiyo Sayathapi nama Thalo matakachino bambo punavilulhiya Evameva bhikkhu papi choye cha pakato sandhang putang uttari manusa dhammang ullapitva asamano hutiya sakya puttiyo tanteya vajivang karaniyang
Amabante.
Aneka pariyayena ko panatena bhagavata janata pasata arahata samma sambuddhena silang samadakatang samadhi samadakato panya samadakata yava devadhasa madda nimmandhanasa pipasa vinayasa alayasa mukathasa vattu panchedhasa tanhakayasa viragasa nirodhasa nibbhanasa satchikiriyaya tatta sila paribhavito samadhi mahapalo hoti mahani sangso samadhi paribhavita panya mahapala hoti mahani sangsa panya paribhavitang cittang sammadeva hasavehi vimucchate sayadidang gama savabhava savaha vichasava tasmatiyate masaming tathagata pavedite dhammavanaye sakachang adi sila sika sikitaba adi citta sika sikitaba adi panya sika sikitaba tata apamadena sampadhetabang. Okay, and then one last.
It's asleep. It's asleep.
Oka sawandami bante, sabanga paradang kamata me bante, maya katang punyang saminha hanumhoditabang, saminha katang punyang mayhang databang, sadhu sadhu hanumhodami.
Okay, so that concludes the ceremony, almost. We'll do a chanting of blessings. The Sangha will do a blessing chant for the newly ordained Hemako, and then a sharing of blessings, dedication of merit for everyone, everyone here. I mean, today of course, many people are here today. It was tied in with the New Year, so many people came for that, and then stayed on for the ordination, and people started setting the hall up, starting Friday, starting to get things organized, and so on. So been actually it's starting to get things organized a lot earlier than that, but really in earnest. And then yesterday, people helped me out. Apple had her band of helpers helping out people who are living in the monastery and other people who came specifically to help out. So it's and then of course, so many people came today and participated and give their anumodana and their blessing for this day. So just to share the blessings and dedicate the merit of all that which is wholesome and skillful. And then, so we'll do the blessing, we'll probably pay respects to the shrine. And then if everybody could give a hand with the putting the stuff away and cleaning things up. That's always when you bring things together, they have to be taken down again, and so pulled apart, come together, and disassemble. So people can give a hand with that. Yeah, and just appreciate everybody's presence, appreciate the effort of the Sangha, and then, of course, the Ajahn Kovilo, Ajahn Tita Panyo, Ajahn Kasapo, making efforts to come from afar, and your family coming from Massachusetts, from South Dakota. That's it wasn't just down the road. This effort was made, so really a lot of appreciation for your presence. And then many other people came from all around. So yeah, delighting in the goodness. So we will go ahead and do the blessing chant. Sāmaroga vinimuddho sāvasanga bhavajito sāvaveramati kando nibuddho jatavam bhavasapitiyo vivachandu sāmarogo Sandumate bhavatwandarayo sukhidikayuko bhavahabhivadhanasiri sanechang utapachayino jataro dhammava dandeyayuvanno sukham Palang soattalando sukito vilulho buddha sasane darogo sukito hohi sahasambe hinya depiso attalando sukito vilulho buddha sasane darogo Sukito hohi sahasambe ninyatipiso adalando Sukito vilulho buddha sasane harogo Sukito hohi sahasambe ninyatipi imina punyakamena upajaya gunutara Pachaliyo pakara chamata pita Janyataka suliyo chandimaraja Gunavandhana picha brahmamala Jayinda Jalokapala Chandevata Yamo Meta Manusa Chamajata Verika Pichasambe Sata Sukhi Hontu Punyani Pakatani Me Sukanjati Vidante Duke Pamphape Tavo Mata Himina Punya Kamena Himina Udesena Jake Pahang Sulabe Chevatanho Pada Nachetanang Ye Sandhane Hina Dhammaya Vanimbanato Mama Nasandu Samandaye Vaya Tajato Bhave Bhave Ujujetang Satipanya Saleko Viriyam Minamhara Namantu No Kasanghatu Javiriye Sume Bundadi Pavaro Nato Dhammo Nato Varutamo Nato Pache Gabuto Chasangho Nato Taro Mama Teso Dhammanubhave Namaro Kasang Labanduma. Do you have any announcements you'd like to make?
Yeah, I think that's about it. Yeah, for the Sadhu. Thank you, everybody, for coming and witnessing this. This is a very special occasion. And now, Hemako Bhikkhu, has been sewing these robes by hand, and he made a mistake on one of his robes. He had to redo it. He had to restart it, and sewing robes by hand takes a long time. And he had to restart his lower robe. Luckily, it was the smallest of the 3 robes, but to redo at short notice an entire robe is not a small thing. So his hands are stronger now. So that's one of the things we do. Every bhikkhu here has to sew their own robes before they ordain. So it's one of the pre-trainings. So it's from Longpo Cha that we do. So I don't really have any other announcements. That we'll be around to mingle with people. And
Puja tonight for morning.
no puja tonight. No, actually, I'm sorry for not canceling it this morning. I was hitting I thought last night, because I'm on forest practice, so I'm not coming to pujas right now. I should have, out of compassion, canceled it for others, but I was only thinking about myself. So, tomorrow morning, no puja. Tomorrow morning, no puja. Tonight, no puja. Yeah. Sorry for not thinking about that sooner. And all safe travels to everybody. Good wishes to everybody on your way back home.
Arahant Samma Sambuddho Bhagava Buddhang Bhagavantang Abhivadimi Swakato Bhagavata Dhammo Dhammang Namassami Supatipanno Bhagavato Sāvaka Saṅgho Sanghang Namami.
I didn't want to announce it on the loudspeaker, but there could be a sauna tonight.